I'm sure everybody has Kali Linux installed on them. If you guys haven't, please upload, do that. That was a 2 weeks ago part that I have asked you guys to have Kali installed. For so far, we have looked at some of the commands, mostly in Kali. So in Kali, we are using it as a Linux system rather than a hacking box, but we can use this. We can start working on it one more time. If you guys are able to view it, or is it too small? I think it is too small for my liking. Yeah, this is better. So in module 7, I have just uploaded two documents. Let's start with that. So it comes with a little bit of background from the videos of continuation from last week. So if you go to module 7 course content section, there are videos called managing user. I'm sure you guys may have gone over it during the preparation of quiz 2. What is the managing users means? So this is one of the important ones that we started upon. So I'm going to repeat a couple of questions that we can. What were the two files? And again, I posted this question in two forums, actually in the forum and actually in the quiz 2 as well. What was the important file which have the record of all the users? What was the name of the file? Passwd, right? And what was the file that has the information about the password for the user? Shadow, good. What was the file that has the information about groups? Groups only, I think, right? And the password for groups are stored in which file? Gshadow, right? Thank you. So these were the files, and then we looked at different files and where the passwords are stored and whatever each comma separated or colon separated value means, which I explained to you. We don't need to go through it again, but that was just a starting point of our files. Problem with the Linux, as I said, it is mostly command, and not everything is very well documented if you go inside the file. How can we see each command that we wanted to use, how we can see its help in at least standing in Linux? Obviously, you can use Ask ChatGPT to say, hey, what this command means. Or what was the command we used? Man. What was the command? Man. And let's say if I wanted to get the help on a command called ping, right? So if you can see, it is telling me what does ping command means, and it's a manual of everything. Everybody from Windows background knows what does ping command means. What does ping command means? Ping means, hey, if you are alive, if you are alive, if you are alive, right? You are asking the computer if it is turned on or powered on. Okay, so man ping. Now here is the part that I'm delving into now. Should be first. So basic permission in Linux, let's say I'm here. Okay, ls command. What does ls do? Shows you the list of files. What does ls minus l do, which is I like it more? It shows you the list and shows you which ones are the files and which ones are the directories. Obviously, we are seeing all the directories here, so this is better. And there are two times it is mentioning Kali in it. Why? Can you think of? One is the Kali is the user, and second is the group. So first time when you, so if you create the user, the group of that user is automatically created. as well with the same name. In some other Linux version, it is not the case. Sometimes it is put every single user is created under the diff in a user group called users, and which is same example, same thing. If you have a user that you created in Windows, there are two types of users that are in Windows. Which ones are those? The basic ones: administrator and standard user. Okay, administrator has all the privilege. Standard does not have all the privilege. It is just like a. And what does a standard means? Standard means the user that is created with the least privilege, because you don't want to give every rights in the world to the new user that you are creating. Every user should start where? Only by the read status. They should not be able to change much on that, on the files that they are working upon. So if you open up, please, on the site on your laptops, if you are watching my screen as well, but if you can open up module 7b document that is available in module 7, that will be good. So I can explain. So go to the course content, module 7, and click on module 7b. I will come back to module 7a in a second because it's just a continuation of 7b. It's a small piece that I have. Okay, so every time, so on the page 1 of this document, CHMOD is the new command that we are going to learn today. CHMOD is the command used in Linux to change the permissions of the files or the directory, and permissions determine who can read, write, or execute the file. Same thing. We have files, same thing. In Windows, what we can do with the files? We can open the files, we can view the files, but there will be some files that we don't have permissions to change, right? And the execute, what do you mean by execute? Execute means run those files. So when I ask you to run Visual Studio Code, what you do? You definitely have what kind of rights? Execute rights to run that file, right? Because it's an exe file, and exe file is a dangerous file, right? I've told you that. Which two files are dangerous files? BAT file and exe file. Can you send in an email an exe file to someone? No, you cannot. When you try to upload the exe file, at least for my case, when I try to upload it on my personal email on Yahoo, I try to send a file to my friend or my family or whoever I wanted to send. If I try to attach an exe file or a batch file, Yahoo immediately rejects that I cannot send executable files. How can I send? Zip it and then send it. Even in the zip now, these days, they are trying to avoid sending the zip, the executable files. I remember I used to get the scam emails from, hey, you have a parcel waiting at UPS, or hey, you have a parcel waiting at FedEx. And when I get surprised, when the scam was on the high, when I get surprised, I did not order anything. Why I'm getting an email from FedEx? When I open up those scam emails, I immediately find that there's a zip file or something, or there's an executable link that they want me to click on that link. So never try to click any link that has tiny URL or bit URL in them. Okay, so that is, so I get tempted sometimes. Okay, if they are referring to my favorite sports on Facebook, I wanted to click on that link, but I cannot. I simply don't click on that. I just scroll over. And if I want to watch those sports news, I can Google it. I don't want to be clicking those links. All right, coming back to this. So chmod is a command used in Linux to change the permissions of the files or a subdirectory or directory. Permissions determine who can read, write, or execute. Basically, there are three basic permissions: read, write, and execute. Anybody who has the right permission typically will have what? Read and execute permissions as well. Here's the breakdown of how chmod works and some examples. Basic permission types are: read, allows users to open the file and view the content of the file. He cannot change the content of it. W means allow the user to modify or delete a file. Execute means allow user to run a file or a program applicable for scripts and executable file. Executable, so if a program is dangerous enough, and execute means allow a user to run a file. So if program is run, it can cause harm on your system. So that is why this is the most dangerous permission, execute. So only you trust the program and then you run it. User types. There are three types of users in Linux. One is owner, one is the group, and the third is others. So if you look at my screen here, this one is the directory. This belongs to a directory. Then this RWX that you're looking at is who is the owner, is the owner of this. Who is the owner of this? I am the owner of it. So Kali, the actual user who is running this, is the owner of it. What is the next one? This R-X means the group guy will have this much permission. He does not have write permission to this folder. So if somebody is writing to my profile, they can read my profile, but they cannot write to my profile. And the last one is RX again, meaning that this guy, any other user who's outsider of this company, they can also read and execute. They cannot write to this folder. Okay, this is the basic setup of it. Now, if you look at scroll further down, numeric octal mode, permissions can be represented by the numbers in Linux. What is the number? 4 for read, 2 for write, and 1 for execute. The permissions are combined like this. So look at this one. If I say number 7, 4 plus 2 plus 1, read, write, and execute. 6 is read and write. 5 is read and execute. 4 is read only, which you already know. 3 is write and execute. 2 is write only, and 1 is execute only. Too complicated, but 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what they are. So permissions of the owner, group, and others are set by combining these numbers. For example, 755. What does that mean? 7 means, just scroll up and look at that. Read, write, and execute. So the owner will have full permission. 5 means 5 for the group and 5 for the others. So read and execute. So every time you will have to look at this chart all the time. So this chart will be available to you all the time, but I will probably test your brain on the quiz about what this chart means. 755 or 764. What if I give somebody a permission of 7, 2, and 1? Can you explain? Yes, you are saying read, write, and execute for the owner. Then 2 means write only for which? For the group, and 1 means execute for others. Right? So all three. So 755 means you can do that, and then I can change these numbering and ask you. So you have to just accordingly copy and paste that, or give me the answer accordingly. Example number 1. CHMOD 700 file.txt. What will happen? So let's actually practice that. So how can we create the file in Linux? How we can create the file? There are 2 different ways or 3 different ways with which we can create file. What was the file? Touch. What was the command? So let's start with that. Touch, and I'm going to call this as file.txt. Enter. So the file is created, ls-l. Let's look at the initial permissions. It's not a directory. rw dash, there is no execute permission. Even the owner does not have the execute permission, right? Then group has rw and the others has r permission in it. Let's try to change that. So if I say, and if you look at that same command that is written in the PDF file, if I'll type it chmod 700, and the name of the file is what? File.txt. Enter. And now if I say ls-l, what will happen? Can you see that? Nobody has any more permission on it. rwx dash dash dash. and everything is dash dash dash. If I wanted to change the permission for the group guys, what should be the one command should I use? 7. If I want to give read and write permission to the group, what is the one that has read and write permission to the group? So 7, 6. Why is taking a screenshot? My keyboard is a little bit different. I'm not used to it right now because I'm using a different laptop. So 760 ls minus l. Any questions? You see that those dashes are a little bit less. You have a little bit more permission for the group, right? So the people in the group can have a little bit more permission. Next command, save in the PDF file. Please try to experiment this one, chmod 755 file.txt. Please do that if you have Linux, or watch my screen if I'm doing this. Type it at your end so you are learning at the same time. chmod 755 file.txt. Immediately after you change the permission, what should you do? ls minus l. Here you go. I can combine the two commands together. Look at this one. chmod 755 file.txt, and then I joined it with the help of which symbol? Pipe symbol. Where's the pipe symbol? Shift, and you have a curly braces close bracket. Can you see that? That's in, at least on my laptop, I see it there. You guys have it somewhere else. I'm just mentioning. So I join, instead of saying this command and after that typing what? ls minus l. I said no, I'm too lazy. I will do it all on one line. So I said pipe ls minus l. So it will change the permission, and at the same time it will run the second command, which is show me everything. Convenient, right? So I am able to write multiple things in it, in the same command. Next is chmod 760 file.txt. Please do that. Now you can see the permissions have changed accordingly. So if it is hard for you to remember all this chart 760 755, because it's a number between 0 to 7, you can also use, if you look at the page 2 of this document that I've provided you, you can also use the letter to set the permission. Okay, so how can we do that? chmod u plus r file.txt. So user should be given what? The read permission, u plus r. So if I enter that, and I'll say ls minus l, enter. So user adds read permission to the owner. So this is adding read permission to the owner, which was already there. So u means the owner, which is again confusing, guys. Look at this one, the last command. chmod u plus r. It is not an ordinary user. It is actually the owner. O is the other, right? Unfortunately, O and other starts with the word O. That is why O means other. O plus X, meaning you want to provide the execute permission to the other. So let's try that. Although this is a text file, so which files are dangerous for executing? The one that has exe at the end of their file extension. But unfortunately, in Linux, we do not have exe file. There is no exe file or there is no bat file in Linux. Where are the bash files? They are in the Windows. Remember, yes, last week I created a batch file and I put it where? In the task scheduler. And what happened in the task scheduler? As soon as that date and time and that clock hit, the task scheduler ran that program on my system. CHMOD O plus X on the file, and I entered that. What happens? ls minus L. Other has the execute permission on that file. Do you see that last X that has been added? This one. This means the user has execute permission now. We can do further more exercises. In symbolic mode, instead of numbers, we use symbols to represent permissions. Here's how it works. Okay, so if I add the permission, can I remove the permissions as well? Yes, definitely. By giving the CHMOD and the number, or if I don't remember that chart again, I can say U minus X, and then it will remove the permission for the user. Let's try that. CHMOD O, I just recently given execute permission on that file to others. I'm just going to say O minus X, and then when I do that, ls minus L and run it. Sorry, ls minus L, enter, and I got rid of that execute permission. Equals to set the permission exactly, removing other permissions not specified. So we are not going to look into that at all. But I'm not going to try U is equals to X or something like that. It will remove the other permissions on that file and explicitly just give that permission. So if it already has the read and write permission, but if you say U is equals to X, it will remove the read and write permission and it will assign the execute permission on that file. You don't need to try that, but it's a take home kind of thing, so you can do that. Comfortable with this so far? U, G, and so now it's everything is very symbolic. U, G, and O for user, group, and others. W, R, X. So I'm just talking in symbols right now. W, R, and X is read, write, and write, read, and execute. Then 755 was, or 70 to 7 was the numbers to go over. So if you are not doing it very frequently on a day-to-day basis, permission, you will get entangled in 0 to 7 and U plus X and U minus Y and equal and minus and plus and all this and that. Very tedious work in Linux like that, in that way.